Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are alphaclaimsandhire.co.uk, Birmingham's best and leading accident management company with £1,000 referral with the code SCAR10. This story is about the murder of Dwaine Haughton in Wolverhampton. He was shot last year and 4 people have been convicted, 2 of murder and 2 of manslaughter. Strangely, the people convicted of murder have not been identified, even though they're 25 and 26 years old. My condolences to his family and also the young kids that live in Wolverhampton. It's a bit of a war zone over there at the minute. There's been a lot of drive-by shootings in the last year or two. 15-year-olds being shot, 15-year-olds being murdered in the street in what police call gang-related. I'm going to talk about another story from Wolverhampton, but first I'll tell you what happened in this case. 4 men have been convicted for the killing of a man who was gunned down while he sat in a parked car in Wolverhampton. The motive remains a mystery, they say. Montel Gray, 22, and Seamus Williams, aged 23, and 2 men 25 and 26 who cannot be named for legal reasons, were travelling in a car that pulled up on a street before a gunman opened fire on a dark blue Peugeot 206 on the 20th of July 2018. Dwaine Jr. Haughton, who was the front passenger seat, was hit in the head and in the back by the bullets fired into the car that was parked in Valley Road, Park Village. His cousin, who was in the driver's seat at the time, managed to escape uninjured. And I really feel for his cousin, because that must have been a really horrible thing to see. Somebody that you love and care about murdered in front of you, especially from what the firearms that were discovered, some very powerful firearms that could have a devastating effect on the human body. Dwaine was driven to hospital with critical injuries, but despite the best efforts of medics, he was pronounced dead in the early hours of Saturday morning. Post-mortem confirmed he died from a gunshot wound to the left side of his face and shoulder. Witnesses told police they saw a car speeding away from the scene straight after the shooting. That vehicle was identified as a gunmetal grey Audi A7, which was later recovered after being set on fire outside Wade's scrapyard on Webb Street, Cosley. As a result, a 26-year-old man who could not be named for some bizarre reason, on July the 27th was arrested from an address in Bilston, in the Wolverhampton area also. He was arrested on suspicion of arson and handling stolen goods. His arrest was the first step in a large-scale investigation that saw CCTV footage seized from 100 premises. So this goes to show the ways they're using technology nowadays in order to be able to find people. I read today on the police website that 2,500 convictions were had from dashcam footage. So when a crime happens, if they ask people for dashcam footage, a lot of crimes are actually getting convictions on this basis, which again is a very new thing. Forensics and painstaking phone analysis all help detectives to identify and track the movements of the suspects in the days leading up to the fatal shooting. A total of 10 warrants were executed during the operation. These included the home addresses of the suspects and addresses they were known to have visited before and after Dwaine was fatally shot. The warrants secured vital evidence, police say, including CCTV of the 4 printing false number plates that were displayed on the Audi at the time of the offence. That's a massive piece of evidence. Officers recovered 2 shotguns, ammunition from a garage in Hackford Road, Wolverhampton. DNA found on some of the ammunition was linked to Montel Gray. In January this year, all 4 men were charged with Dwaine's murder, as well as possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, possession of ammunition with intent to endanger life, and handling stolen goods. Seamus Williams and 2 men who cannot be named were charged with arson in relation to the burnt out vehicle. Despite a huge scale police investigation and countless police interviews with both suspects and witnesses, the motive for his murder remains unknown. So that's very unusual to have so many people involved in a case. Usually somebody would give a reason as to why something happened, so that is strange. Despite overwhelming evidence linking them, all 4 of them denied burning the Audi A6 and the shooting, but following a 6-week trial, the 2 men who cannot be named were found guilty of murder. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of 2 grown men being convicted of murder and not having their names revealed. They was found guilty of all charges and faced sentencing on November the 1st this year. But the detective in the case, Nicholas Barnes, said these 4 men showed complete disregard for human life. They fired shots into that car and the only reason the other person lived was luck. I'm glad that the jury were able to see that there was nothing but calculated and premeditated murder. My thoughts are with Dwaine's family, particularly his cousin who was in in the car when he was shot. And about the shotguns as well, from what I can see from this shotgun, they didn't name it, but it looks like a Winchester 12 gauge shotgun. From what, looking it up and looking up these cartridges that they found, these look like 12 gauge cartridges. They're usually orange, and the other bullets I haven't identified yet. Some subscribers do tend to know a bit about bullets, so if anyone wants to ID them, the Winchester being an old gun, most likely stolen from a countryside house, as you're not going to get it in any other place. And also to talk upon the different types of shotgun cartridges. I touched upon it lightly in another video, but I'm going to say it again. There's 3 different types. There's the birdshot, which is the most common used. The chances of it killing you are very slim. It is made for killing small animals unless it's at a very close range. Birdshot is never, it will just pepper you in pellets. The second one being buckshot. Buckshot is more powerful, bigger pellets, ball bearings, and they will kill you. It will do a lot of damage. And the most deadly of all of the shotgun types of cartridge is the slug, and the slug is literally just a single slug of lead that will cause a lot of damage, because a lot of people put the wrong cartridge into the wrong shotgun. So a lot of mistakes when you see shotguns getting misfired or just not going off correctly, sometimes the whole gun will explode in people's hands. So there is a massive difference. So when you hear of these shotgun attacks and people surviving them, it is potentially because it is birdshot that the people are using, just condensed pellets. So his cousin is very lucky to have survived this attack. And earlier last month, on the 6th of August, a major investigation was launched after a drive-by shooting on a pub. Armed police were called to Ritchie Street in Whitmore Rains, near to the New Hampton Inn, after the weapon was fired from the vehicle. Residents in the area said the shooting was gang-related. There was no reports of any injuries, but damage to the building. These sort of drive-by shootings when nobody is injured, that just becomes tomorrow's chip paper. It will never be spoken about again. This is happening a lot in Wolverhampton. At least once a week there is a drive-by shooting, and these young kids that are getting involved in this culture and becoming victim to it. Another case I want to highlight that I've never spoken on before is the murder of Keelan Wilson, who was killed in Wolverhampton also last year, and nobody has actually even been charged with his murder. He was stabbed to death. A gang of what they alleged to be teenagers. His mother made an appeal. I actually spoke to his father. Me and his dad actually become quite close. I'd actually class him as a friend, and we had some plans to raise some awareness in regard to it. And he was very honest with me, and he explained to me the difficulties he'd been having with his son, and also what he tried to do to try and help his son. I really want to highlight the fact that there is parents out there that kids are involved in stuff or get involved in knife crime, and the parents are trying to help them. They're trying to do well. They're trying to keep them off road. And his mother went to the Express and Star and said that his killers had posted online since his death and gloated about the murder, but at the same time it's hard to say that they are his killers until there has been a conviction. Of course, this case, I don't understand how there's no justice that has been done for his family, due to the fact that this is a case between children. These are 15-16-year-old kids. These murders are not done with great planning and preparation. These should be very simple to solve, and I'm very surprised that the police have not got the resources, or not put in the time, or they sometimes leave it a long time to be able to get the evidence that they need. But this has been over a year now that this family has gone through this trauma. Do you know what I mean? And to the degree that his mom's saying she knows who killed her son, she knows who's done it, but there's no evidence to be able to arrest them or charge them. So that must be heartbreaking as a parent to have to go through that. So I really do want to big up all my Wolverhampton subscribers, and I know you do like me talking and highlighting stuff that's going on in the area, and I will try to do that as often as I can. So please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and please pay your respects to Dwaine, and let's try and just be more productive today. Big up to everyone doing productive stuff in Wolverhampton, DC Studios, Who's the Boss, all them people that made productive music things for the kids to get involved in, because there isn't always a lot going on in these smaller cities and towns. So I really want to hear from you guys, so please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and there's plenty more news on the way. Thank you. Peace.